Good evening, everyone, and thanks for watching. I'm Katie Moore.
And I'm Cherise Gibson. 1 week after the Bourbon Street terror attack, the New Orleans City Council held its first hearing on the city's security preparations leading up to the incident.
The city's top cop declined to answer questions about the NOPD and how they protected the city, but announced the NOPD is bringing in a high-profile consultant to help the department moving forward. Paul Murphy's joining us live outside City Hall with that story. Paul?
Well, today's hearing was just the beginning of the City Council's review of the terror attack. The meeting was more of a dialogue than an investigation, but the City Council is clearly trying to determine those security gaps that existed prior to the attack and how to prevent something like this from happening again. The joint meeting of the City Council's Public Works and Criminal Justice Committees comes just 1 week after the Bourbon Street attack. 42-year-old Samsud Din Jabbar drove a truck into revelers in the French Quarter, killing 14 and injuring 30 more.
This tragedy has reminded us of the importance of unity, vigilance, especially during challenging times.
There are questions about some of the city's security decisions prior to the attack, such as why a single police SUV was used to block the entrance to Bourbon Street on New Year's Eve, the lack of secondary defenses, which allowed Jabbar to drive unimpeded for 3 blocks, and ongoing efforts to install security barriers that may not stop a large speeding vehicle.
And I do believe it is important to look back and figure out what gaps were there so that we don't have those gaps continuing.
NOPD Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick appeared before the council, but declined to answer any direct questions about the attack.
I am and will answer any all questions that I can, but not today. There will be a time and a place for reflective review of our actions.
Chief Kirkpatrick announced she has asked former New York City and Los Angeles Police Commissioner William Bratton to help the NOPD.
He did agree that he would come forward and serve not only as my expert on how to hard target our city, but he is here to serve all of us.
New Orleans residents also gave comments on how the city should proceed in the aftermath of the terror attack.
We've got to build the infrastructure as a community, as a city, that prevents it from ever happening. And that means bullards, that means traffic calming, that means restricting who can go through these crowded spaces.
The sister of Latasha Polk, who was killed in the attack, is pressing the city to turn words into action.
They make all of these great plans. We actually like to see them implemented so that the preventative measures are taken.
Homeland Security Director Colin Arnold was noticeably absent at the hearing.
There's one department that's missing here that may have the answers, Mr. Chair, that you're looking for, and that department is the Department of Homeland Security.
City Council Vice President J.P. Morrell will be chairing a separate committee looking at the factors leading up to the tragedy. They include prior security contracts, city security contracts in the French Quarter, what equipment was in storage and not being used at the time, and ultimately who should be held accountable for the security gaps. We're live at New Orleans City Hall. Paul Murphy, WWL, Louisiana.